Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Mohammed Al Qassim, and you are on the Break It Down show.
That's right. That
Podcast
is
show.
what we do. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. We have a common friend, and our friend, I guess we'll just call him Johnny Walker in this case.
He
a
is
friend
Johnny
of mine.
Walker.
Yes, he is Johnny Walker. He has another name in Arabic, but whatever. We're going to call him Johnny
As
Walker. 'Cause
Arabs,
that's
we
what he's
always
common with.
have some weird names, I know.
Right. Yes. Look, so I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things I thought we might discuss for a minute or two here is the names in Arabic. And I know a lot about Iraq. So in Iraq especially, they're different than how we work them here in America. And so this is me talking to the audience. Mohammed knows all this stuff, but your name is often in an Arabic country, your name is Muhammad Ali Muhammad, or whatever it's going to be, right? You'll have the names and it'll be a sequence. So it's your name, your dad's name, and then your grandfather's name, right?
Yes, sir.
And here's the other thing. Like your name could be Muhammad. It could be spelled 15 different ways because the vowels are not that important in Arabic.
Million percent.
And the other ways. Yeah. And so it makes it complicated to do names. Like Muhammad is from the Jaburi tribe, very common, very big tribe. And you will find a lot of ways to spell that. And so in America, when we were trying to figure out how to work with these things, we would have what we call naming conventions. And it's like, this is how we spell Muhammad. Yeah, but that's not how Muhammad spells his name. It's different. Every guy can be different. And every way you put the name together. And like we were just talking about, there's all these different ways to say your name, but everybody calls you, like my daughter's name is Brenna. So they'd be like, Abu Brenna, right? Like that's what they would call
That's
me.
how
That
it
would be
is.
my
That's so
nickname.
true. Yeah.
Or they would say Pete with the glasses because I wore glasses at the time. And so they would say in Arabic, beat with the glasses. And so talk a little bit about names so we can understand just how different our worlds can be, yet they're also very similar. And thanks for coming on the show, man.
With a pleasure. I appreciate that. You started a very beautiful subject, which I can maybe surprise you about this, maybe something you never expected. Majority, when we talk about names, as you mentioned, my name is Mohammed Al-Jaburi. Now, as Arabs in our heritage culture, we do have every human, he will have a name, and you will have a nickname and the tribe name. So my name is Mohammed, and as example, a nickname, you could call me Abul Qasim, which is the father of Qassim, because as soon as you have a son or daughter, nobody will call your name anymore. You will be the father of the name of your oldest son in usual or daughter. That's how it is. So that will be your nickname. Beside, to be introduce you are from which tribe or which people, so it will be like Muhammad Abul Qasim Al-Jaburi. Oh, so that's Muhammad Al-Jaburi, that his nickname is Abul Qasim. And when you say that, like, we share so many common names, and as Muhammad name, I do believe there is over 35 million person in the world, they have the name Muhammad, which make it one of the most common names around the world, which always give me a hard time in any airport, by the way, but it's all good. Yeah. It's part of the tax I pay over the name. Majority of the name here in the East and the West, we share them. Now, I could give you the shock of your life as example, when you will know, as example, John is an Arabic name.
Right.
All these names there come from Middle East, come from the Mediterranean world. Like John or Jonathan, the same, like they add to John. It's all come from John as the mother name. And it's the name Yahya. The name Abdullah, you hear tell out, hey, Abdullah, or whatever, Abdullah. Abdullah is the same name as Israel. El is mean God. Yeah. Now we have Gabriel, Raphael, Israel. So Israel is kind of the slave of God, or the one who worship God the most, right, or like committed to God the most. That is the same we say Abdullah. Samuel, you will shocked, is in Arabic is Samuel. Yeah. And it's a huge. Now David, Dawood, Solomon, Sulaiman, Noah, Nuh, and it's all come from the old like Bible and things like that, but it's all come from that Mediterranean world. Even Susan is the flower Susan in Arabic, right. So many, and always like as example, you take my name as like, example. So my name is Mohammed in English, Muhammad in Arabic. In Turkish, they say Mehmet.
Right.
In African language, they call you Mamamudo or something like that. And as example, Morocco, they call you Simo or like Mr. Mo, like how it
Mm-hmm.
is. So it is just the same name. So every one of us never choose his name. Few people have the luxury to choose their own name or rename themselves, but majority of us, we've been given names that we have no business with it, and just somebody like me paying the tax over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm so glad you said all those things because, I would be interviewing people
yes,
and they
sir.
would say, my name is whatever it is, and then I would go and look and be like, oh, God dang, that's Mohammed again. Like there's Mohammed and always different ways to sort of
Yep,
get close to it. And then you have to say, like, wait, you're a Turkoman, and that's why your name is Mehmet instead of
that's
Mohammed. And I'm trying
exactly.
to understand this. And I'm
Yep,
like, mind is blown all the time. And then again, we're so precious on
yep.
our side saying everybody is Mohammed. And like, well, like that's not how this guy spells his name. But then they would say, this is a crazy thing, everybody. And so
Yeah.
our system is very rigid and it's very formalized. And
Yes, sir.
so I would say, well, I saw the man's ID. And then the person on the American side would say, well, it's a fake ID. And I'm like, man, they're all fake. I can go get an ID right now and I can become Mohammed Al Qassim Al Jabouri in a second. And you and I both know, like, the ID is a Western thing that, yes, there's IDs, but to make one, it's just not that big of a deal. At least back when I was there 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Has that changed? Has the formalization of the government become such that if you're from east of, I don't know, Tikrit, are there any federal laws there that demand that you have a proper ID even today?
Well, definitely, as any civilized country now, every country in the world, every human need to be registered. Now, this is not only about just being in the government, but also to register because there is some human rights you need to get if you want to get a treatment, medication, things like that. How they know you are the one who received the treatment, how they know you are the one who get the legal marriage, you are the one who's supposed to pay the bill for this person, or you have a loan you need to pay, things like that. So everybody now in the world, in the Mediterranean world or like the Arab world or whatever you call it, they have to have IDs and it have to be updated. And I do believe every passport and ID, I do believe maximum you have that 10 years and you have to renew it because your face features, your body change every 7 to 10 years. So you need to update it. So if a policeman stop you, he will look at this. Now, if I have a gentleman policeman stop me with my ID, he look at my driver's license, I was way younger, and he see all the gray hair saying, double check, maybe need to give it a couple of
Yeah.
minutes to doubt it. But especially if you lose weight or you're gaining weight, and if you was, let's say, younger and with age you lost bald headed or something like that, if you grow beard and you was shaving, those things make people need to double check. So yeah, everybody need to have an ID and he need to update it because for being registered, and also as a country you need to know the population, the growth
Yeah.
from the population, and the education level, things like that. So you need to be certified and you need to be identified as well.
I understand that you need to have those things done. I also understand that when I was there, every Iraqi person I talked to had multiple IDs because they had to be someone different in each situation because it was so dangerous. And this
That's
is
so
everybody,
true.
Muhammad knows this.
Yes, sir.
If you had a shoe on, you had an ID in it. And so each shoe was like, who am I going to be? Right. And so
Yeah.
this is everybody, the violence, this is just Pete talking, Muhammad's going to correct me. The violence in Iraq back during the American-Iraq War era, well, a lot of it was political violence. Yes, there was a religious aspect to it, but the Shia and the Sunni and the Kurds, it wasn't like how they worshipped Jesus or Muhammad that was the problem. It was the political power that they were struggling over. And so it went along these lines, but I wouldn't say it was this. I learned this from Iraqis, everybody.
Yes, sir.
It wasn't sectarian necessarily. It was political power. Think more whites and blacks as opposed to Catholics and Jews. How did I do?
I do believe you mentioned it. To be honest, you nailed it in the right way. And being honest, sir, it was just a political actions. It wasn't even from Iraqi people. Sadly, I should agree with you because I wish it was better situation to say, no, sir, you was wrong, but you lived it all, you see it all. And I am one of the people who suffered that my own self. And my younger brother, just because of his name, or my cousins, they was about to be killed. Actually, my younger brother kidnapped twice, and we have to run to the police station to rescue them. And he was just like 13 years old, just for his name. Those people, after, like, they say, as we say, Baghdad fall down, we get sadly slaughter under the hand of the Iranian regime. It was not the Americans' hand. Americans have no idea, no clue what's going on here. They come to the foreign land, and not that much Iraqi people was able to speak English or fluently, so they could communicate with you, to stop you everywhere you are, to tell you, hey, sir, this is something here suspicious. We doubt this, and we need your help. Can you please help us investigate this or check this? I do believe I have a story from one of my father friends. He was being arrested, and he say during the time they've been arrested, they've been giving them food, and it was included baking, things like that. And not prisoners, they used to eat it, but this gentleman, he was, high rank military general, and he go to them, and he actually was here in Washington for a while, and he go to the guards and he tell them, guys, as a Muslims religious, we don't eat pork. And they say, we are so sorry. And since that day, they stopped giving them bacon and anything that as a Muslims we are not supposed to eat, which that was a huge deal for the prisoners, because they was really having anxiety and huge anger when they know they've been forced to eat food that's been like definitely prohibited during their faith or religion. Now, when we talk about the armed militia that came from Iran, Mr. Pete, that's armed militias. And definitely you're watching the news and you see how bad is that regime doing in the region. That regime was controlling over 5 different countries. They was putting their hands in Yemen. And we see now those radical regimes in Yemen who take over the country and kill even the legal president back in the days. You remember that a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
And they take over Syria, they take over Iraq, and they take over Lebanon as well, with Hezbollah and the militias there, the armed militia, with those bad, radical people. And they was also putting their hands in the Gulf area. They start going to Bahrain and Kuwait, and thank God there was some wise men in the Gulf area, like the Saudi government and some people who's allies with it, as the Gulf group. They try to immediately allies, and they stop them right away, and they send some forces and to stop the Iranian movement on their own area on the Gulf. And after that, the American government noticed, wait a minute, we have a red belt here and we have red flag here, and this cannot be done, because the armed militia in the beginning was trying to dominate the land by killing the Iraqi people. The biggest threat for Iran was the Iraqi qualified people, which till today they are targeted to be killed and assassinated and slaughtered under their hand. Now, they start killing the military officers, the pilots, the engineers, the doctors, the professors in universities, the actors, the poeters, wherever you could go during life, nurses, till they end up killing the people who do barbershop. Right. Because they want everybody to grow beard, to look like radicals or think like that. And also it was trying to do that bad view to force everybody to run away and leave the country, so they dominated by their own, like the way you see it here. So when that civil war happened, it was run. And I will ask your permission. I wish the video is in English to bring it to you. The Minister of Defense of Iraq back in the days, like I believe like 7 years ago or 5 years ago, his name is Abdul Qadir al-Ubaidi, which he's kind of relative to Joe Walker. You can double check with him about his cousin that he was Minister of Defense. And he was in TV show, and he was talking fully legally and freely about the radical people who used to come with their suicide bills and killing themselves in the bazaars and market, and against the troops and the international troops and Iraqi civilian people and American army. They used to come from 5 different places. 3 of them was located in Syria, and 2 was located in Iran. And the Minister of Defense, he said we was having full knowledge about it, full access of the information. We have videos for their, like, camps and where they get the training. So when we arrest somebody, tell them, where did you get your training? And, like, camp number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, is it in Syria or Tehran or Iran, as example? And do you used to eat there? This should be sleeping rooms. So those people release all these bad people, which they was part of the the special forces of the Iranian, like, intelligence service, and, like, the special guards for the Iranian government, to do that civilian war. And after they take this level A, level B was attacking the international troops and the American armies. And when the red flag showed there, Americans noticed, those people that we was thinking they are allies, they are not allies anymore, and they are actually the enemy who was just trying to get an advantage of me, taking away their best enemy from their way. So that's how was it during the Civil War. So as people, Iraqi people, that's true, Mr. Pate. I do believe they have a couple of IDs, and you might believe it or no, me in person, my dad, God bless his soul, we lost him around 11 years ago, which he was another military high rank military man, and we couldn't sleep in a home for 2 nights,
right,
after, like, in the row. We have to change places because those militias will come to kill, kidnap, and torture us for no reason, just because my dad fight against Iran during that time. So we lived it all, and it's ugly truth. But I do believe to heal from what we go through, we have to announce what is the problem, and we put the hand on it, and you find the injured, and you stop the bleeding after that. That's how it is.
There's a lot of ways we can have this conversation. I appreciate you helping us understand it, because these things are complex, everybody. And, and just to explain it this way, to live it and see it, man, even then it's even complicated. I recall, like, we'd sit in a room with a bunch of sheikhs, right? And it's everybody watching. I used to be a spy. And so I would go out and I would try to help the Americans and the American partners, the Iraqis in this case, try to figure out what was going on. And so my interpreter would look and he'd say, the Shia just showed up. And I would look and I would just see a bunch of Iraqi guys. Maybe they are in their sheikh robes.
Yep.
Maybe they're in their Western clothes. And I'd be like, but they don't look different than the other guys that you said were, the Sunni. And he's like, well, don't you see their collars? And it was the collar of the shirt, the small details. And I'm like, so are these guys going to be upset? Like, no, these are businessmen. They're okay. And I'm like, oh my God, I'll never learn all this, right? It's so complicated. And I wanted to bring this back in too. So, because all these things seem simple if you're on the outside looking in. When you say I'm from the Jaburi tribe or Delaim or whatever it is, there's a message in that, everybody. Like, if I forget the name of the tribes, but the tribes that were dominant in Talafar, there was one of, like, those are all thieves and smugglers, because that was their trade. And so when they said whatever tribe name, like, and there would be an instant belief about that person, true or not, because of the tribe that they were in. So for sure, I've heard positive and negative things about Jaburi. I've heard positive and negative things about all the tribes. And so all of this shows up when you show up in the room. If you're Iraqi talking to other Iraqis, it's already this, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're this. And then you should see how Iraqis talk to each other. To say that it's excited, boy, oh boy. I would watch these guys talk, and they'd be arms waving, very passionate, all these kind of motions. And occasionally I would be like, are they going to come to blows? And my interpreter's like, no, they are friends.
I agree with you. This is such a complicated situation.
One more note, and then I'm going to shut up.
Yes, sir.
Other times I would see a man smack another man, and I'd be like, and my interpreter like, this is okay. They are negotiating.
Oh my God, what kind of negotiating is that? Oh my gosh. Slap somebody in the face in public and say we're negotiating? Oh my God, this is not civilian at all.
Right, but this is also a time of war, and so there was, a little more down. But again, it's a complex place, right? And so we want these things. I guess I'll say one more thing. We want these things to be calm and stable, but it's Iraq. It's not like that. At least in this time when I was there. The other thing that would happen is we would have a bunch of aid come to an area, right? And so we were going to give loans for small businesses, or we were going to help the farmers. Well, if you go one little village cluster over, and let's say that, like, all of the Smiths are there in that little pocket. And then all of the Millers are over here, and they're like, see, those guys there get everything, and we get nothing. We could be there the next week in the Millers' little enclave, their hamlet. And the Millers would be like, see, even though they brought it to us, they brought it to them first, and they got more. And the internal struggle just amplified everything. So it made it hard to understand who was bad, who was mad. But everybody agreed. Sunni, Shia, every Iraqi agreed. Too much Iranian influence. All right, now I'm going to shut up and let you talk.
No, I cannot agree more. Actually, brother, there is even a bigger view and things like that. As you say it yourself, sir, in Iraq, we are a beautiful diversity country. It's just same like any other nation, and same like here, United States of America. You do have a beautiful diversity. So in Iraq was the capital of civilization for over 650 years in the row. Same like as example now when you talk about America, when you talk about Dubai as an icon, you talk about Beijing in China, you talk about Malaysia, you talk about countries who have great economy, you talk about Europe. People used to migrate and came to Iraq to get educated, to do businesses, to have trading, to go to universities and get science, because Baghdad was a capital for all of them. And when we talk about Iraq itself used to be called Mesopotamia. Back in the days, Iraq was the capital of the entire earth. Around 14 different civilizations. 8 of these civilizations was rise up and take over all around. Even when you look at now the Persian civilization with their symbols, things like that, is all Assyrian and Chaldean and Sumerian, Babylonian civilizations. It's just the same symbol. And even more shock for you when you know the Egyptian pharaohs. When you go now to Egypt and with the pyramids and every statue they have there with the amazing wall they do have, you will know that the Egyptian ancient pharaohs, by the DNA test, they find they all was from Mesopotamia or Iraq in the world we call it today. So Iraq, the capital of civilization, you have 90% of the things we do every day today is come from Mesopotamia. Now ask yourself, Mr. Pete, as a friend, you get married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to honeymoon?
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think honeymoon came from? Do you have an idea about that? Do you ever ask yourself about that? When you go to honeymoon, your son, your daughter, your in-laws, your neighbor, you get married. Okay, it's my honeymoon. Where's the honeymoon came from?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mesopotamia, we believe honey is healthy, and especially for fertilities. And back in the days, the family considered strong based on the members of the family, and especially the members of males, because they will be able to work in the field, doing hunting, fishing, whatever the life need. The day divide to 24 hours based on Mesopotamian. We didn't follow the decimal. We used till 12, daytime and night to 12 and 12. The minute, the hour, 60 minutes, it's all there. The stars, you're looking at it. The universe is being shaped and written and displayed. And there's more details. The first battery, the first music note, the first food recipe, the first written joke in history, whatever. More important than all of that. To be civilized, to have a life, you need to have a law. The first written law on earth is called Hammurabi law. And is there standing in the Louvre in Paris and sitting there around over 200 something like a law to organize the life today. So Iraq, with all this beauty of diversity, sir, as you mentioned, we have people used to be Yazidi or Yazidi, they call them, which it is a faith. Yeah. We do have Jewish Iraqi. We do have Christian Iraqi. We do have Muslims Iraqi. We do have people called Sabia Iraqi, whether the people those follow the message of Noah, you know, peace upon them all. And they all exist, live there peacefully. But you just hear, oh, the Muslims, the Muslims. No, it's not only the Muslims who have the problem, it's the
Yes.
entire population. Now, from 2.5 million, Mr. Pete, my friend, Iraqi and Christian or Chaldean, we call them, and whatever, the old civilization, those are the indigenous people of Iraq. Those armed Iran militias, they threat them, kidnap their kids, kill their fathers or the families, and the population went down from 2.5 million to 50,000. You will never see something happen like that around the world. Even the World War I, World War II, I do believe there's survivors more than the percentage of our, Chaldean or the Catholic community in Iraq.
Sure.
Now, who's responsible for that? Iranian regime. Easily. I will not say put the blame in anybody, but they was have agenda. They was have fully planned to work on it. And from there, they start on action and work on it. And their action cause us to the level where we have all these problems today. And sadly, Mr. Pete, you have no idea. Now, for me, Mr. John Walker, the people who've been trying to knowledge the people about the Iraqi people rights and what we're going through and the people, what they are fighting for, that the Iraqi families now, the parents could be in Sweden, the son in Germany, the daughter in, like, say, United States of America, the other daughter in London, the youngest kid or son or daughter could be in Netherlands. After families, the Iraqi family system, as Mediterranean people, that doesn't have to be Muslim or Christian. Our culture, you have a family, you get married, you have kids, your kids stay with you till your daughter, they get married, and they move on to their husband's houses. But your sons, we always have houses, big houses enough, the sons to stay with their wives, with the parents, not for anything but take care of the parents when they get older. So for us, we have huge fights between our, siblings and Mediterranean people, Iraqis, Christian, Muslim, whatever you could name the religious, Yahud, Jewish, Iraqi, whatever. They go sometimes to courts or fight. Who want to take care of the parents? I'm the oldest. I should take care of my mom. No, mom wants to stay with me. I have better finance. I can take care of her more. No, I should take care of her more. That's our heritage. Now, seeing the family, each one in different country, and the parents just by themselves, and nobody taking of them, it is giving us a level of anxiety and a pain that no words can display it. I'm in person when I get married. Iraqi visa was banned. I couldn't have anyone of my family, which I'm the oldest in the family, to even come and shake hand with me and tell you congratulations. I didn't see my younger brother for 11 years and a half. And we have nothing to do. We have no problems, nothing. It's just the life. This is the war life, that's, we pay the tax over that. It's like a war zone. And thank God you here in the United States and America and everyone in the world. May God keep the peace everywhere. We don't want anybody go through what we go through because nobody know that pain more than the survivors themselves. Nobody could appreciate the life more than the person who was near from being died. So we understand that suffering. And you see it all, brother. You've been lived it all, and you've seen how hard it is when you see your brothers in army or your people in the field, when you get just a terrorist and to shred those men to pieces, and you go back safe, but you have left part of you there with your friends. So we lived it all, and we're paying the tax over that. So yeah, that Iranian regime and the problems we do have at the Sunni and the Shia and Iraqi people, but it wasn't only Sunni and Shia, brother. It was the Christians, Chaldeans, Ashurians, the Jewish, the Yazidi people, the Sabi people, the Mindai people. all of the faiths in Iraq was suffering that, and nothing hurt us more than seeing our churches that we grow together. I have friends of mine till now. Whenever we have funeral or something, they come do their prayers and being with us in the funeral, and we attend their wedding, their party. We're just the same, and something you might not expect. I probably you know about that. Now, every tribe in Iraq, majority of the tribe, they do have Sunni and Shia. As Al Jabouri, you will find part of the family is Shia, and some of them is Sunni. So who's gonna kill who? I'm gonna kill my cousin. I cannot do that. But it is some bad arm, like hands putting their own agendas that all come from Iran and the radical people like that, which it is something we have to go through. So hopefully we will never let that repeated to anybody else.
Yeah, man. Thanks for explaining all that stuff. And again, the reason why I know a lot of this my job was to listen to people and to find things out. And I would hear things and I'm like, that is not true, and then you sit with it and you're like, of course it's true. And at least it's so old, we can't know, but why wouldn't the oldest place on earth be one of the places where these things like honeymoons come from, right? And so, yeah, that's how I learned a lot of these things. And I would hear these outlandish claims, but then I would hear it here, and I was forced to accept the reality was, and I'll give you an example, everybody. There was a place called Tuwaitha, and there was a nuclear plant there. And all the people around Tuwaitha, the Iraqis, said, hey, the Iranians blew it up. Now, the Americans would say, no, the Israelis blew that up. We all know this, right? Doesn't matter. Around Tuwaitha, at least. And I don't know when that stops being true, but it's the Iranians that did it. So the ground truth is the Iranians blew up Tuwaitha around that area. And if you start where, no, it's the Israelis and I'm not going to listen to you, then you're never going to be able to understand that version of Iraq. Now, maybe we'll find out one day that the Iranians did do it. Who knows, right? But for right now, those are the facts, is that we don't even agree on this thing that we all think is obvious from our point of view. That is Iraq in a nutshell, right? I worked around the Ctesiphon Arch because that's just down the road from there, or also known as Tek al Kasra. That's me saying it in a terrible Arabic accent, but that area. This will amplify what you were saying, Mohammed.
Yes, sir.
That area, this is what I learned. So there used to be a casino there, where you could drink and have a vacation and get your son's first haircut because the shrine for Salman al-Farsi, Muhammad's barber, was there. There was the Iraqi museum, one of the Iraqi museums that was there.
Panorama it was just used to have,
Yeah, and so all this stuff, everybody, is within one giant city block, right? And you can see everything. You can walk to each of these little places, and it was a tourist thing where people came and did things. And here's what was explained to me. So the casino had to be owned by a Kurd because that would be okay. It wouldn't be okay if someone who was Shia or Sunni on the Arab side owned it because it would be bad. And then you had to have, and they explained how all these things had to work so that everybody could go there and it would be okay. And it was a very obvious structure and everybody would come there because Iraq is a diverse place. Sure. And then people from all over the world would come to get their son's first haircut because they wanted to be by the shrine. All these things worked where people were working together, but there was a lot of Iranian influence in this area. So people were afraid to stand up and say anything because they didn't know who was allied with the Iranians. And that little area was like a very conflicted area because there was a lot of Sunni and Shia mixed together in the same area. And so a lot of things that weren't political at all, they were vendettas that were happening there, right? And so when we understand these things, these different areas, you see the wonderful, beautiful, and the Tigris runs right by there, right? You see all this beauty, all these farmers. Farmers are the same everywhere. They're the same kind of people. That's what they do. But when you make it too simple, you miss all the things that are going on. You miss the beauty, you miss the complexity, and you miss the fear that something's happening. The farmers, and I'll shut up here in a second, the farmers over and over again, the place in that little part of Iraq would say, the Iranians are coming in and they're crushing the prices of tomatoes. And so I don't make any money on tomatoes. So Iran is fighting not just this religious fight, but also this economic agricultural fight. Meanwhile, the Americans become like, why don't you grow tomatoes? And so the farmers can't even take us seriously because we have no idea what their problem was. And so, and I'm just giving you one tiny example of what this looks like. And then you have to sort out in your American brain, is this even true? It doesn't matter. This is what these farmers are saying. So we come in to help these farmers. I'm talking to the farmers every day. the State Department is saying, hey, we've helped these farmers. And I'm like, the fuck if you have? These guys don't respect us because we don't respect them. So anyhow, there's a lot of this miscommunication. And I want to get this back to what you're working on with your party and trying to get Iraq to be better. And so feel free to talk about that. Let me let you say something in response to that, but then I want to get to the work you're doing now.
Sure. Now, as we discussed earlier, Iran target wasn't only the political life in Iraq. They was targeting every single part of Iraq. Now, you will get surprised when I tell you after 2003, everything you could think of, let's say military equipments, military supplies. After 2003, Iraqi army being dismissed, and there is thousands of military equipments, and there is so many units being just left behind, things like that. How do you think collect all of that? Where did that disappear? You've been there. But I know you have the answer, but others, they have no idea. It's all being taken publicly, shipped to Iran. The Iraqi government cars all being taken to Iran. The long vehicles, logistic, transportation and delivery, things like that, trucks, they all been taken to Iran. Iraq government before 2003, they get a huge improvement on that field, and they get thousands of brand new trucks from great companies. They all disappeared within less than a month after 2003, and they all go to Iran. And from there, taking with the Mafia, or they call them like the war princes or things like that. So they go just to be shipped to Pakistan or whatever, Afghanistan, whatever the trade market will go take them, that black market. And the military equipments and the Arabian horses, the falcons, whatever I could bring to you, the Iraq agricultural parts, the quality seeds, the quality animals. And hey, they will come to you. Are you going to sell me this? You say yes. They will give you something worth $1 million. They give you maybe, if you're lucky, could be 100,000. But I don't want to look weird if I tell you this foot is worth $1 million. They tell you 10,000. But you have no choice, because if you say no, you'll get killed next day, and they will take wherever they want. So you just let it go and you swap it under the rug, and little by little they dominate everything else in the country. And from there, the factories, they shut it down. Any manufacturers used to be work and supplies the Iraq people, or supplies the Iraqi market, has been shut down and be removed. And that, let's say, a businessman couldn't relocate it to Jordan or somewhere around that there's a safe country, he can move it with the cost of moving. And during the wartime, there was not much cash flow, things like that. It was really hard economy time. So not everybody have the capability to move the stuff. So you're just gonna let it go or sell it to whatever the price they give to you, or they just take it by force and be taken to Iran. So from there, they make the whole entire country is just hollow, nothing there. And Iraq, from a country, used to be supplying the entire world by so many things. Like one of the most famous things in Iraq is Iraqi dates. We have a lot of palms, thousands of thousands. We used to be #1 suppliers of the dates around the globe. If you believe now we import and we buy dates from Saudi Arabia or different countries because the supplies is not really good and is not enough.
So crazy.
It is so crazy. We used to supply the entire world, and we do have more than enough for the Iraqi population, but now we don't even have anything enough for people. And imagine from there, the rice, the most quality rice. I know the basmati rice is famous around the world because of the trading mark with Pakistan, things like that. But we do have a certain kind of rice. It's so famous and it's kind of expensive, and that's been all exclusively grown in Iraq, one of the best quality rice in the world. We don't even see it anymore. We cannot even have places to take care of that because it need extra water. And now the Iranian government shut down every water fall for us and think. And Iraq has been facing a huge water problem from the country Mesopotamia, the country between the land between the two rivers. We do have around 19 sub river that's been supplying Tigris and Euphrates. Now they almost been shut down, and we do have so many canals. Thing is always almost dried, and Tigris itself, Euphrates, is about to be cross walking in certain areas. After that, two giant rivers. It's like the Potomac River in DC or Maryland, Virginia, and it's same like any big river you do have in the United States. And you could imagine that's a huge river that it is always threatening you with a flood. You couldn't cross it walking, and could think about the agriculture field, the fishing, think like that, and everything connect with that, the farming, agriculture part like that. So yeah, we cannot grow tomato because we don't have water, and we don't have even the capability to take care of it. Now you need to treat the the agriculture field, whatever it is, tomato, carrots, cucumber. You need to get it some whatever chemicals, things like that. Who give you the supplies? Nobody. You cannot get it. So you take care of it a couple of months, and first a frost or something, they all die, and you cannot cover it. There's no more supplies. So now we are based on the importing everything, and Iran have a huge market, around 40 million human, dependent everything on Iranian businesses. And guess what? They always saying to us, the lowest quality of a product. Now they have some good quality products. They have some exported product to go even to Europe, to United States of America, are market, think like that, international market. But they never send us the good products. They always send the lowest quality, kind of targeting our people to keep them under the low profile. So from there, they take over everything. When I tell you everything, I talk about airplanes, tanks, military equipment, private cars, businesses, manufacturers, hospital supplies, healthcare, suppliers, things like that. And they let us just in a hollow country. You don't have anything you could base on. And that's also putting a rock on your American troops way, because which kind of field you want to treat, which kind of place you want to fix, that also was setting you up as to be failure there. Because if all the people is angry, all the people is mad at you and your leadership and the way you run the country, guess what's happening? They will be attacking you, especially with the radical minds that come from Iran, and they start leading people, brainwashed, think like that. And the militias, and those people come from ISIS and whatever, Al-Qaeda. And just simply, where's the biggest heads of Al-Qaeda after Bin Laden being killed beside Pakistan? They're all killed in Iran, right?
Yep.
The most terrorist people that Sunni against should be the Irani or the Shia, they was in Iran, the capital of Shia, under their own protection. And thank God they've been captured and killed to let the world get better without these radical people. So yes, sir, that's how it is, Mr. Pete.
How do you get, so, here we get mad because this party or that party, but in Iraq there's lots of parties, everybody. Lots and lots of parties.
Party for every citizen.
Exactly. He's not kidding. I mean, it's hard to even sit a parliament, and to maintain the prime minister slot, because it's how do you get enough relevance with the Iraqi people themselves? Because a thing that that is common when there's not enough, when the tomatoes are always bad, is that you believe that the system is designed to foil you. It's against you. And it's hard to get people to believe in something when they've been told the greatness is just ahead. Vote for me, and here comes the greatness. And then the greatness doesn't show. And so they're like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. How do you get to be believed by the very people that you're trying to help?
I don't know how to bring that, but I have to say it the most honest way.
Yeah.
The problem was from the beginning, It was by choosing the wrong people, putting the bait on the wrong horses. Those people who been came and been giving power. They wasn't even loyal to the country, and they wasn't even have any I don't know interest to make Iraq better or work in that reality.
Okay.
To develop the country or think their own way. They say if they was like acquisition as example, after 23 years, they still thinking in the mindset of acquisition. They never know how to be men's, how to know lead a country or run a country, because their mindset is just to revenge, and their mindset is just to take whatever they could. Is just they know they're not gonna stay there forever, so that's why you see the corruption and you see all these problems that come from that huge issue, that those people are not loyal to the country, and their main interest is just set their own interest, fill their own pockets, and leaving the country with empty hands. And that's exactly what happened now. The government is just I don't know, but it is sagging in debt, and it is sadly to see how bad is the country now, but there is no other way but we have to announce it. I have no better way to say they're all traitors. I apologize, but start from the people who've been in as a prime ministers, and I do believe they never ever work to make Iraq better or make Iraq great again or developing the population or work. After 23 years, we don't even have electricity. You know how many wars?
I was about to ask.
Yeah, it's just so, yesterday I was attending live on TikTok. We was discussing and talking about something, and they go, "Oh, sorry guys, the electricity is down. We have to go to the generators and things like that." And 23 years, and now just take that to the people live. You have a meeting, or you're taking a payment, and the electricity went down, the internet went down. So it is not only the electricity, is the life itself.
Will you let me jump in here? Because I looked into this quite a bit when I was there. Please. And pardon me for interrupting, but I wanted to illustrate.
Yes, sir.
This is an old problem. And so we were there trying to help. And I would talk to people every day. I've talked to thousands of Iraqis. And my interpreter and I figured out these strategies on how to talk to people because he was hearing the same things. And so we would say, what's the smallest problem that we could solve today? How can we help you and the mayor and whoever and just fix one small problem? And they would say, and look, I know a little bit of Arabic, right? And so they'd go, Maku Bai, Maku Karaba, which is bad water, bad electricity. And then I would be like, Maku Mai, Maku Kat, and I would pantomime them and say it. And then my interpreter would say, we hear this every day. We can't help you with that here. All we can help you with small things. But I still wanted to understand about electricity and water. And so these people would be driven insane. I'm being literal here, everybody. Insane. Because I don't know when the electricity is going to go on. So I can't run my business properly. I can't. And it was all due to bad water, bad electricity. All these simple things. And this farmer said the most brilliant thing to me. One of the most important things I learned the entire time. He said, I've seen you guys around here before. You're good people, so I'll talk to you straight up. I'll be very honest with you. I don't know why you guys didn't build, he's talking about the Americans, a high tension line throughout the grid, all throughout. All we do is fight. And I'll show you guys a picture of what Iraqi electricity looked like back then. I'm sure it's the same today. It was all independent. Everybody was just stealing it from one another, cutting each other's lines. It was driving people insane. If we shut off the power here or in DC and you didn't know when it was going to be on or for how long, it would drive us insane and we would start shooting each other. That's how this went. So this farmer says to me, I can light the dirt in my backyard on fire. There's so much oil in the ground. And he wasn't joking. He was being serious. But we can't reliably get electricity. How in the world are we ever going to stabilize this country? You guys have failed. You put it on us, and he was right. Like, we came and we could have done something about that. And I was hoping that you were going to tell me that electricity was more reliable now, and that the water, not only clean water, but also what to do with the sewer water, right? How do you move water cleanly? This is what modern countries have to have, and when you don't have it, the population is going to go bananas. Everybody, like it's elemental. I had to say that. I appreciate you let me talk, Mohammed, but this is an old problem that should have been dealt with, and America has for sure failed, but also the Iraqis around just, I don't know what to do about that.
I opened my phone, I searched, tried to show you a video, but I back up on it because it's really sad just to let you see it, and it is embarrassing to me to show civilized people how we are as a civilized country, which country with thousands of years of civilization, and we have a huge problem on having a pure water to drink, go to houses. Now, every human needs water to survive. You will have, yes sir, that's one of the very easy thing. That's just because of the generators. Those people, each wire of these will take it to different house, and you will have like like 2 amperes or 4 amperes based on how much you want to pay per month, and with that you will have only a couple of lights, or maximum you could have a fan during summer or something like that.
And then your neighbor comes and cuts it because he's mad at you.
Exactly. Oh yeah, 100%. And also because there's thousands of accidents because of that wire getting cut and falling somebody and things like that, or some cheap quality wires get heated and then get disconnected.
Yeah.
Huge problems because of that. And nobody will do anything over that. Nobody will gonna solve it. And when we talk about the problem of the electricity, they will never solve it because it's a business for the government. The people who run the country or run the show, they are giving those people who have the diesels and the generators percentage of the diesel per month, which that's another fraud and another corruption. And then they let them run those generators to supply it, and they get part of the money. And those militias now, who is kind of, let's say, running the country, let's say in your block you have this generator supplying the block. Okay, I will gonna get you the gas, I will gonna get you this, and you're gonna give me $50,000 per month. You give me 30, you're in trouble. You don't give me, I'm gonna shut down your business, or I'm gonna assassinate you. Yeah. So that's become a cash flow for the entire armed militia around the country, because those bad regime in Iraqi government, those people have zero quality as running a country or how to lead their followers. So they just make a tree. He's the leader, somebody is under, and okay, you go run the things your way. I give you this area to control, and you go and run it your way and run the show the way you do. And from there, those people start their own show with their own power on the ground and start going to every supermarket, every business. Actually, you might surprise, Mr. Pete. I will tell you something funny, like a truly funny, hilarious like hell. Do you know there is some nightclubs in Baghdad, and there's whatever belly dancers, things like that, drinks, alcohol, liquors, whatever you want to get, right? Do you know who offered the protection for them? Do you have idea? Did anybody tell you, John Walker, maybe tell you about that ever?
You're gonna have to tell me. I don't know that
Okay,
specific thing, but I know I went all around Karada and
sure.
saw nightclubs everywhere, and I
Yeah,
always wondered kind of
thank
how
you.
does that
It's
thing?
around Karada, that area.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
no,
Those people who giving them that protection is the radical mullahs and regime. And I don't know, maybe probably one of the guys that I don't know, probably you hear his name called Ammar al Hakim or whatever like that. He was part of the government. His father was Abdulaziz al Hakim. His uncle was Muhammad Bakr Hakim. Those radical Shia people used to be in Iran, and they used to be with the Iran, forces against the Iraq army and doing operations and attacking the Iraqi army like that. So those for us, don't take me wrong, as early Iraqi people, those are traitors. Who are gonna kill your army? Like, let's say, to bring it to you, you're an American, and whatever you have disagreement with the government, are you gonna attack American army? Impossible. That's your army. That's your people.
yeah,
That's your own power. You will not hurt anybody carrying your own flag and defending your country and, you know, giving his life to protect you. He have an oath
right,
for that. So those people used to do that, and those people get the power. And even if they are radical and mullahs and they have that whatever term, above their heads and think like that, but they are the one who collect the money from those women, and they are the belly dancer, think like that. Then they offer dances and some extra things, like you have maybe idea. So they are the one who give them the protection, but they have to pay them every month.
yeah, yeah,
You don't pay them, and I do believe a couple of years ago it was an operation. They do it. I do believe it's in Karada as well, as since Karada. I do believe 5 years ago or something like that. There was an apartment where those belly dancers, think like that, they live as a groups in it, think like that. They didn't pay the money, and they just go up. I do believe there was 26 women or something like that. You could find it on YouTube. Let John Walker find it to you. And they go slaughter them all with
yeah,
cold hands.
yeah,
And they just left them in the apartment. So people forced to pay them. Otherwise, if you want to live in the country, like I get the luxury, I have education, I have bachelor degree, I was able to go out and find a way to be a survivor and work, and the war gave me new life. But there are some people who didn't get that luxury to get the opportunity to leave. Or have like a parents or parents, they cannot leave them behind. As I tell you, our culture to take care of the parents and things like that. So who gonna do that? So they are forced, their arms is twisted, and they will just do whatever those radicals people and those militias want them to do, and they are just have no way to survive but obey them.
yeah.
So no
This is
electricity, no water, no services. And
right.
by the way, during the previous government in Iraq, the President Saddam Hussein time, we was have the trading between oil for like necessity living. We have we do have the trade. We give oil and we get some food supplies over that. Those food supplies was paying around 30 years ahead based on that negotiation. And since 2003 till now, the people who get in chief or the regime there in Baghdad, they never give full supply for people. That supplies was helping poor people to survive. Now, without these supplies, it's a truly hard time. And 4 months, 5 months, they don't receive anything, and they receive sometimes very low quality thing, and they cannot even be food or giving even food to animals. And that's how they are running the show. They are just for us, we know. In fact, they are just revenging because those people, they are Iranian allies, and they consider Iraq as an enemy. And actually, one of the ministers, that's a very good example. I'm happy I remember that. One of the ministers in Iraq, which he was a minister since 2003, brother, Mr. Pete, till today, He's in government. He's in power. He been minister in multiple different, positions. And there's a videos. Let John Walker also show it to you. He's as a soldier with the Iranian army, and he have an interview with Iranian journalist or something. He say we are moving from point A to point B because of the enemy is moving out to that side. The enemy was Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
That person that he say the enemy is moving there, we are moving, rallying with the Iranian to fight against the Iraq people, the Iraq army, and he called as the enemies. He's in chief, he's in power, he's a minister since 2003 till 2026. He's in power, he's there, he's a VIP and fully protected.
It is, man, the things you're saying, and it's sad. It breaks my heart because Iraq is such a wonderful place with such beautiful people. But yeah, it's just so stuck. And I hope that you're able to figure this out because it's not easy. And I just want everybody to understand, like, when he talks about the danger involved, when I was there, when I was working, I would try to find out when an Iraqi would go to the police to get help.
Oh.
And I'm in and they wouldn't. They would say, I would go to my brother. Your brother's not here. I would go to my cousin.
Yeah.
My cousin's not here. Well, then I would fight alone.
That's
yeah, but what about the police? And then they would laugh in my face. And I would say, and here's the thing is, I knew what the answer would be because I'd asked everybody. So I'd write down, then he laughed in my face because he was never going to go to the police because they didn't trust him. And one guy pointed, he's like, that dead guy's been in the gutter for a week. We won't talk to him. We don't talk to the police. They don't come out. They don't care about us. That's the message. The dead guy in the gutter. And he pointed. There was a dead dude there. So
you're just like touching a bad injuries inside me. You say the police, okay?
Yeah.
Let me talk about you. Police run by who? The Minister of Interior, right? No, Minister of Interior, right? Which that ministry was in charge of Iraqi people's safety. Now, during the guy called Nouri al-Maliki, you probably know that name, which he's the father of ISIS, the founder of the Spiker, slaughter, crime, and things like that. He should be honestly taken to the trial and taking facing the law as a criminal. But let me tell you, he got 8 years of leading. Being a prime minister in Iraq. During his time, the Minister of Interior, a gentleman, was called Bayan Jabr al-Zubaydi. I don't know if you ever remember that name. That gentleman, he was famous in all Iraq. Now, don't take my words. Ask John Walker or ask different friends. Tell him, hey, Mohammed al-Jaburi, Mohammed al-Qassim, tell me this name. That guy is named Bayan Jabr. What he was famous with, if you could tell me, what was the nickname for that Minister of Interior? You know what he was called? He was the drills guy. During his time, they used the drills that you use them for, your tools for assembly and things like that. They use the drilling things, like you make a hole in a wall or concrete like that, to drill people bones or take their eyes or scatters, or backs or hearts.
He is not exaggerating, everybody.
I promise you, more complicated than that. That Minister of Interior, during his time, his nephew have a degree as a general in the Ministry of Interior. They take him out of service because that nephew of the Minister of Defense, he was leading group of corrupted policemen who was kidnapping, torturing, killing people for money. Now, I was having office for computer supplies. My office was called Baghdad Office for Computer Services. I am able to understand English language because I study computer science in Iraq. I have bachelor degree with that. So when somebody speaks English ahead of me, I understand. So thank God, couple of times there was about to be taken to be killed, but I was able to tell the translator, hey sir, this is what they say. And that translator get shocked I was able to speak English because the American troops or the units with them, they don't know what they are saying in Arabic. He just make a phone call, hey, I got a sheep, come so you can receive it. Like they take you there with them to the unit and they tell you, oh, this guy, okay, we check with him, you're going to be dismissed. So you let him go out. You don't give him a ride back home. When he's out, they will just take him, kidnap him, and kill them, and you'll find him there on the side of the roads, and you see them back in days. So that Minister of Interior, when you talk about that, when we go to police, for sure, who will go to police? If they are the one who killed under the badges of the government, the guns of the government, the cars and the logistic support of the government, and the guns. Yeah. So why? How come? Like there is a beautiful Arab poem, Arabs love poem. We say, we go to the prince when somebody abuse our rights, but to who we go when the prince abuse our rights?
Yeah.
Like take it as the king or something.
Yeah.
Like if the one you go to the court or to the law, like system to make sure you get your rights back. But if the law enforcement corrupted and will gonna hurt you and killed you and torture you, or kidnapping your daughter from she's coming back from school, or your wife back from work, or your son where he's come back from school, you're just gonna keep your mouth shut and you will do nothing. Just obey what they want you to do. That's how sad it is, brother.
The political part of it too, and I don't know if this is still true because there was a lot more roughhousing when I was there, but
sure.
Out there in Medina is a farm district within
I know where it is.
The Baghdad state, right?
Yes, sir. And you go there, before you go there, there is a roundabout, big roundabout there.
Yeah, exactly.
I know where you're talking about.
So when I was there, I was talking to the locals, and everybody was running for office to get into parliament. And this is like everybody's like the House representatives. Okay, so one guy was running, and we're talking about this. I'm talking to the sheikhs and the Americans, and they're like, there's a problem because Bob, we'll say that's the guy's name. Bob wants to go. We don't want Bob to get elected to parliament. Right. And so I don't know Bob, and I don't have the ability to go talk to Bob because it's too dangerous for me just to go walk around in that area.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about whatever. And so the Iraqi general in the area, very nice guy, right? But also he's a general, so he's got power and he gets to do what he wants to do. And he's explaining Iraqi politics to me. And so a couple of days later, there's a bomb that goes off in front of Bob's house and blows up his car, breaks his windows and everything. Right. And I'm like, it seems like a real problem. You got a guy running for office. And, his house got blown up. And he's like, Peter, it is politics. If they wanted him dead, he'd be dead. They don't want him to run. As long as he doesn't run.
It's a warning letter.
Exactly, right? But and I'm like, that's politics, right? So when I say this,
would you imagine warning letter is a bomb?
Yeah.
Just take it. Warning letter to tell you don't do that. I put you a bomb. And I could disable the people walking in the street, the students going back to school. There are people, that's exact prime example. I'm sorry to interrupt you. The people who run the country, bro, the people who run the country are terrorists. They're just terrorists. They are just use that. And you say somebody want to go to be elected to be to the parliament or whatever. Do you know the vice president in Iraq? He ran away by his life, otherwise he will be killed and slaughtered. His name was Tariq al-Hashimi. He was general back in the days.
Yeah.
They kill his siblings. They kill his brother. They kill his sister. They arrest his guards, and they say he's a bad guy just because he wasn't agree with what they are saying. So what they do, they arrest his team, and the gentleman, I do believe he's living in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken. He was vice president, bro.
Yeah,
they take all the power from him in a minute, and he become the public enemy, and they could convert you to enemy the minute they want, just because Iran say no for that guy. And guess what? More complicated than that. Even when we say Sunni and Shia, think like that. Do you know, bro, Mr. Pete? There is nobody will go to be part of the parliament or the government without the approval of the Iranian officers who's running the show of Baghdad, which back in the days was Qassim Soleimani, the one who got killed, and thank God he been assassinated by American troops. We're so proud and grateful for you for taking him down, because that was a devil on earth, and
Yeah.
you have idea about what he was doing more than me. And that guy himself, and the funniest thing, those people, they are ugly till level. They are not ashamed to say it. They say, "Oh, I took Mr. X with me, and I took him myself to sit with Qassim Soleimani, so we put him in the government." And that was the guy who ran the parliament, as example. And now he's considered one of the Iraqi icons and things like that. So just imagine that Iranian officers, chief in command, that he's in charge of running the Iraqi file.
So
you cannot put a minister or a manager or principal in a school without his approval. So which government, which election, which parliament are we talking about?
Yeah.
By the way, Constitution, they write it down to a way to make some people benefit from that, to keep us running in the same circle. And I was even discussing this with, trying to discuss about this also with some of the congressmen, because we need to bring this to the table. The problem is start from the problems on the wrong writing on some of the notes of the Constitution need to be correct, need to be updated. And even before 2003, who was have a Constitution? There was nothing wrong with it. Now you come with something good, okay, that's good. But that's thing you get me. You get me a suit is too big for me. I cannot wear it, bro.
Yeah.
You cannot force me to wear it, and you want me to look good and handsome. It's not my size, bro. The shirt is too wide. The suit is too tight. It cannot be look good. You need to get something applicable for you. So from there, that's how it is.
It's so frustrating to hear, and there's so many different needs, but you can't be safe.
Sorry, it is so deep.
No, but I'm glad you're talking about this, because these are the problems that we experienced then. So you can't go to the police because they're infested with people that are going in the direction. By the way, in the story of Bob dropped out of the race, and the last time I heard about Bob, he was alive, and they left him alone because he didn't run, right? Yeah. And I'm not saying that the guys who ran were bad guys, because they did a lot of stuff with us as well, and maybe they were good, maybe they were bad. It's politicians, you find out. But it's very hard to do this. So how do you build a coalition so you can amass power, but also clean out the Iranian influence if you can't rely on the Ministry of Interior, you can't rely on this person? I mean, there were so many problems there. How do you sort that, Mohammed? How do you sort that out?
We are just running the same circle, brother. Who's before, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
Just like that. That's why since 23 years we are suffering from the same thing. And honestly, to be truth have to be said, we will never stand up or raise again without taking off this corrupted people and those people who are loyal to Iran. We have no problem with everybody. We have no problem with anybody. But those people take the country to truly the lowest level Iraq have go through in history. During the time all nations raise up around us, during the time all the nations around us, look at Dubai, look at Saudi Arabia, look at Kuwait, look at Bahrain, look at Qatar, look at the countries around us, look at Jordan. Now I'm not talking about war zone. Wherever Iran put her hands, you find nothing but blood and truly, I will say, conflict zones like Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, things like that. And Iran itself now, you could see what they are going through. Like, no matter what you do, bad things was, I don't know, what goes around comes around, So
I want to ask you about that, because when we have, you have the ability, okay, there's two things I want to ask you. I'm going to start with Iran. So Iran right now is teetering, and we'll see what happens next. But the thing I know about Iran in general, or any country that gets the better of Iraq in that area, they're not going to get their foot off of Iraq's neck. They want you guys to stay, because if Iraq was left to Iraq's devices, you guys have all the money, you can feed that whole part of the world. There's so much potential there. So Iran doesn't want you to thrive. And I would imagine whoever takes over next is not going to want to be like, oh, let's give all this power up. They have control over a lot of Iraq. Right. So Does it matter if the next regime is more Western aligned or is less theocratic? Does that matter at all?
No, brother. We have no problem. Whoever could come. Anybody could be loyal to the country. Trade me. And
Yeah.
that's how it is. Like,
No, I mean the Iranian regime, the next one, if
yeah.
it does topple, are they going to work better with Iraq, the next regime, or will they continue to be dominant over Iraq whenever possible? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, sure. Now, for us, first of all, talking about Iran, John Walker yesterday himself, he was saying in a live show on TikTok, he was saying if the Americans make an operation to take the Iranian regime down, I will volunteer to work for free to take that regime down. I'm the first volunteer man. That's what he said himself yesterday, which I'm proud of him to say that, because
Sure.
we do all say the same. And we really count on the United States to take that regime down with the power you do have.
Yeah.
I will not say the military power only, but the intelligence power you do have,
Sure.
the sources you do have, the men's in the fields, anything. We know you could make it happen, and you could make a small conspiracy, you could make that happen, take that mullahs down and make that easy and a soft change to take Iran from the Islamic country to just Iran, and there
Right.
will be a government. Their business is to take care of their own business, not everybody business. Iran
Right.
become a truly like an octopus, have their bad arms in everywhere. And when we say everywhere, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, the Gulf area, Yemen, things like that. When we talk about Iranian regime, even the Lockerbie, the airplane that fall in United Kingdom that they accuse Gaddafi for it. It's been all planned by Iran, right?
No, I didn't know that, but that
Think
makes sense.
about it. You will get surprised. It's all run by Iranian intelligence work, and they threw them under the, tires. But
Yeah.
we have no problem if any Iranian government will come to take care of their own people, their own country. We have all the respect. We don't have any problem with the Iranian people. We don't have problem with the Iranian regime. The Iranian regime is the one who accusing the problem. Iranian people like any other people, they like music, they have heritage, they are peaceful, they want their kids to go to school, their daughters, their kids to grow and get married and make families, good education. They like life itself. Go to any Iranian restaurant and see the music. And also, if you go in any event of the Iranian Inquisition, you will find them civilized. They go with violin, violin. They come and playing music, and they come saying poems, having flowers and roses, and come with a beautiful diversity of the Iranian population, Christian, Jewish. Oh, talking about Jewish. Iran have one of the biggest Jewish population after Israel itself.
That's right.
They have
didn't Ahmadinejad come from the same village as like Menachem Begum or something like that? Like
I
they
do
were
believe
from
that.
the same-
Yeah. I do believe that.
Which is crazy. Everybody, that's crazy. We don't have a whole lot more time, so I want you to come back, but I want you to answer me this.
Sure.
Because of who Donald Trump is, like him or hate him, you have the ability to talk to him either directly, and you live in the same area, so you probably can get an audience.
Brother.
So let's say you
Put me in a room with him. Let me get a meeting with him. I'm looking for that.
Let's say that
Yes.
happens. You
Yes,
sit
sir.
down. You've got 2 minutes to talk to him, right? That's it.
Yes,
what are
sir.
you going to say to Donald Trump, the president of the United States, in terms
I
of
will tell
helping
him-
Iraq?
I will tell him, sir, I'm not saying you as you in person, but I say United States, put the baids on the wrong horses. And that cost you a lot, cost you $3 billion, cost you thousands of lives of American men and women, and a lot of families got hurt. We have a whole entire population from Iraq being wiped, but I bring it to you earlier, 2.5 million Christian Iraqi got down to 50,000. We do have around 12 million human outside the country, the population suffering. Please, let's put our hands together to work together to make Iraq great again and America great again by having a great allies and put the bait on the right people who know how to run the show. You need to get a qualified people, loyal to the country, believe in free souls and free minds, and know how to do that. And nobody could do that better than us, the people who get educated, get the opportunity to work around the globe and have see it all, the good and bad. So what we want to do is doing the things in the right way and make it better for everyone. Put your baits on the right horses. And Mr. Trump, as a businessman, I do believe he will not put the bait on the wrong horse. And I do believe if I get a chance to sit with him for a couple of minutes, I could convince him to do something together. I wish to get that opportunity. I'm working.
Yeah, let's get you. I'd love to see that, man. I love Iraq, and I'd love to be able to go back and
help me with that, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll go down there by the river and get some sandwich maskoof at what's that place called?
My gosh.
There on?
Oh yeah, the maskoof and the Iraqi bread with it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh, and then
it's
the
become a
lamb
dream for
from
us.
Mesopotamia. Yes,
sir.
Is all
Yes, sir.
wonderful.
And by the way, you know that maskoof is the same way we cook it for 6,000 years. It's the same.
Well, that's because you got it right.
That's how it is. Yes,
what is that restaurant called? That famous restaurant right there on the Tigris in Baghdad. What's that place called? It's the most famous place
on the street called Abu Nuwas.
Yeah.
Well, you have to know I left Iraq since 2005, so probably something you see it I didn't see, but there was so many. There is a famous restaurant doing best.
It was that Abu Nuwas place. That's what it was. Yeah.
I will. Sorry, I will not remember that. I don't remember. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a famous place. I don't remember either. I think they called it Abu Nuwas, but that could be.
It is Abu Nuwas, the name of the street. The street.
Yeah.
And Abu Nuwas is a person. Abu Nuwas is the name of a man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So they named the street of that a guy who was fighter. It is a base one of the Arabian guys.
I have a picture of where we were. I'll send you the picture later on.
I appreciate that.
Come back and help us understand Iraq better, and help us to help you get the influence that you need to try to do the right things. So many of these problems, we've seen them for a long time. And so I'd like Iraq to get better. And if we can help, we want to do it. Anything you want to say in closing before we wrap it up? At all, Mohammed, whatever you want to say, the floor is yours. And then everybody, I'll be back in just a few minutes with another episode. Actually, we're doing 4 episodes today, 4. So go ahead, Mohammed, and close us out.
First of all, I will say thank you for having me today. It is my pleasure to have a new friend, Mr. Pete. You are a brother. You are way above a friend. That sometimes we say, well, you earn brothers that your parents didn't get to you. You do have that say that's a brothers in army, right? So we could be brothers in working to make the world better in our way. And thanks for taking the fight to defend people far away from you, your language, your heritage, your culture. You sacrifice more than enough, and you're still taking the fights to make the world better. Thank you. I cannot truly thank you enough for being, this great brother and supporting my people, talking on half of us, and let the American people know about the suffering we go through. I wish our voice will go through you to the people in commands that will be able to listen to us and sit with us, and we can make this better. But I will say nothing is impossible for great men. Great men could make everything happen, and when the good intentions is there, I do believe God will put his willing to make it happen. So we pray for the best. I'm thanking you for all your efforts or your kindness, and thanks for having me. It is my pleasure to be on your platform. Looking forward to do it again and again with your brother. Thank you for you. Thanks for John Walker, who making this happen and introduced me to a greater brother like you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. We'll see you in a little bit. Mohammed, I'll say goodbye to you in a second. Everybody else, I'll see you in a little bit.